To speak on stage today's session, I've brought in some of my dearest friends to be able to share their vision of what's happening in the speaker world. So anybody who's organizing events, anybody who's thinking, what will people want to see? And also speakers coming into the industry will have a better idea about what the current conversations are about. So I'll get each of the guys to introduce themselves and who they are and what they do. And then let's get straight into the conversation. So who wants to go first? Jeremy, you go first.
Yes, well, I'm Jeremy Schwartz. I speak on leadership and sustainability, and have the privilege of going around the world speaking to leadership teams or across Asia, across Europe, a little bit in America, and also to conferences as well in that area.
So I'm Coach MJ. I am the king of virtual, hashtag, and I have been in the leadership field for about 25 years plus, and I've been writing about leadership and now the new quantum leadership. So that's my new area of expertise and the new area that I'm listening and learning to explore.
Wonderful. Professor Christian Farioli here, digital marketing wizard and running campaign for the last 21 years. At the same time, involved in the last 5 or 6 years with artificial intelligence for leadership team and C-level executives.
Fantastic. And I'm Dave Crane, the host of Speak on Stage, and you can Google me while Google's still relevant to find out what it is that I do. Welcome to Speak on Stage with Dave Crane, the podcast where we unpack the art and science of public speaking to help you command the stage with confidence and authority. I'm your host, Dave Crane, and as a seasoned speaker, coach, and entertainer, I've had the privilege of helping thousands of individuals like you to unlock their true potential on stage all around the world. Each week, we'll bring you candid conversations with industry experts, successful speakers, and thought leaders, delving into proven strategies, practical tips, and personal anecdotes to empower you to become a captivating communicator. So whether you're a seasoned pro looking to refine your skills, or a beginner taking your first steps onto the stage, this podcast is your go-to resource for mastering the craft of public speaking. So grab your notepad, open your mind, and get ready to amplify your impact as we embark on this journey together. Welcome to Speak on Stage with Dave Crane. Together, let's jump and grow wings on the way down. Now, let's start off this conversation. Anyone can jump in at any point with any thoughts that they have on it. When I joke about the fact that you can Google me, that was the old business model where you would turn around and say, right, find me on Google. But that's got a slightly different relevance now through perplexity.ai and the whole AI thing. SEO is changing. Even Google's turned around and it said, we're not going to be concentrating on search anymore because people are not going to use it to find websites. Now, for a speaker, it's all about building that brand and that visibility. How have you changed what you do to accommodate this very strange world we're in now?
Well, I would say actually that element of how people use or how people are moving from direct search through Google to find our websites as one of our platforms to using just, let's say, AI has required a shift. I must admit, I've been experimenting both with my own TikTok channel and creating direct video content on LinkedIn. What I've noticed is that LinkedIn really is not a video channel, and that though it is video has a role to just be more interesting and perhaps disruptive, it's not a place where people really watch. And it's quite strange how just you flick to something like TikTok or YouTube or Instagram even, and the content of video is so perfectly at home there. So I'm finding that one has to experiment with new channels to make people aware and find you in a different way. And TikTok is the most exciting one that I've found to be in. Not necessarily a channel that needs to work necessarily, but definitely to followership and being able to see you as a speaker in a video content way.
Christian, can I throw this at you? Because you're a big fan of TikTok, I know, but the world is changing because certainly after the American elections in November, they've talked about the fact that they're going to be banning TikTok in America. Now, a fair chunk of the users and smart people using it are based in America. Do you think that's going to disrupt the platform, disrupt the industry, or are people just going to VPN their way around it and still carry on making videos?
That's a good point. There's been announced quite a few times that it was going to be banned. Actually, in India, it's already been banned. It's one of the new generation platform, TikTok. There are a few others, even though I still prefer it because I see that it's very popular and effective. But I always say that as much as I love social media, never put all of your eggs in just one basket, because it's happened in the past with Vine and with other platforms. Some people got so attached to it, and suddenly the platform got removed or bought out or banned or something. So, and those people, they found themselves looking for a job on the street. So that's why I believe that as much as I love it, keep also other options available. And talking about what's coming about AI, etc., I've been always saying and believing that, we just need to stay 5 to 10 years ahead of the curve to make sure that we're going to be okay. And that's why they pay me to understand what's coming in every industry. So I've been doing speeches about AI in healthcare, in pediatrician, in oil and gas, in finance for the largest corporates. And it's always about researching a lot what's coming and how this is going to change. Because what I always explain is that AI is the new Microsoft Excel, something that a few years from now, we're all going to give it for granted. Nobody's going to say, what are you doing with AI? It's just a part of our daily life, like Microsoft Excel, no big deal, like Word, like Outlook, etc., like Google. And that's important because it keeps us on our toes, and it makes sure that we understand what's coming. So we are ready for it. This is, for me, very important.
Just a quick one. If you love what I do and want to work with me, go to the VIP mentoring site and get yourself registered. Whatever it is you want to do, this is a QR code, or go to www.speakonstage.com/summervip/ all the details are there. I'm waiting for you. One-to-one exclusive sessions to build your signature product. What is it? Find out. Take a look. Work with you soon. That's it. Back to the podcast. Coach MJ, you and I are probably oldest boys in the room. I'm exhausted by social media as it is. I find it toxic. I find it difficult to watch without seeing everyone saying I'm better than you, or at least feeling like that at the same time. And I only use it as a placeholder for stuff I've been working on so people can see that I've been relatively busy and I'm not dead yet. What's your thoughts on it? Because every time a new platform comes up, people run at it, they do loads of stuff, but I don't think that's a bottom line on why people have credibility and generate trust. What's your thoughts on it? And I'd love to know more about what you said about quantum stuff, because that sounds very exciting. I've got no idea what it is.
Yeah, so first of all, let me just respond to that. I think as far as the age thing goes, Dave, you might have me there. But as far as where the relevancy is for social media, hey, listen, I was playing catch up when computers first came out. I pushed back for a couple of years. No, we don't want that. You know, what is that? So new things will happen. Change happens. You can resist it at your peril or embrace it. So I prefer whenever possible to embrace it and use it as a tool. You know, so there were times back in the days where I had an office. You'll probably relate to this. I had an office on Fleet Street, Dave. You know where Fleet Street is?
Oh, yeah, London, of course.
So imagine all those offices on Fleet Street were all advertising, media offices, PR offices, which was mine, specifically catering to the newspaper industry, which, by the way, has been totally disrupted. You know, there were times where you put an ad in a magazine or newspaper, that was your marketing strategy, you know, because you wanted eyeballs to see it. And you had a, return on investment. It wasn't a, price per click. It was a clip a coupon and send this in. So anything that could get people's attention. So listen, for me, social media is an opportunity for a speaker or anyone else who has a business service to reach a particular audience and to be able to target them more specifically, demographically. So for me, at the end of the day, simply a tool. As for my field now, which is quantum leadership, it's really a regurgitation of a lot of concepts. But if you think about quantum physics, and you also now understand that empathy, for me, is one of the most important superpowers of a leader today, then using those types of strategies that come off of feeling and caring for others will make a leader certainly taller and bigger in their field. And that's what I'm all about, helping leaders get to the next level.
Well, I've watched you do that for many years, and you're excellent at doing it. That's why we've got this Rockstar group of speakers. I've seen you all on stage and knock it out of the park and be brilliant at some of the world's biggest events. So here's a question for you. What is a modern speaker look like? Is that an AI-driven speaker? Do you use it behind the scenes? Do you use it on stage? Do you ignore it and go without and almost go unplugged? How can you use AI and technology to raise your own game in a world where, I mean, the thing is, here we have in a group of OGs, original gangsters in speaking. And I know I've seen you all just kill on stages, do amazing stuff. I see lots of people who are terrible speakers, but on big stages. So what is it that's an advantage that those who are really good at speaking can do to raise their own game, get more noticed, and also make it so you are more worth booking for those big stages again?
Very simply put, listen, one day a beast walked into a village, and all the villagers looked up at this in awe of this beast. What do we do with this beast? Or is it going to kill us? Is it going to eat us? And one guy says, why don't we get on top of it and ride it? And then they named it. They called it a horse. Look, AI is nothing but a tool. We need to embrace it, harness it, and use it to be able to take us to the next direction and the next destination. Pure and simple.
That's amazing. And you just showed your age. You remember when the horse was invented?
Yes, right before the buggy.
Gentlemen, so what's your thoughts, on Jeremy and Christian, on this same thing about AI speaking?
One thing is speaking about AI or speaking about anything that also include AI. The other thing is using AI tools to help a speaker. Actually, even the topics, I'm using heavily AI, I research with it, etc. It's something that you need to master. You need to keep looking at stuff around AI because nothing has been written in stone. So it's all changing day and night. It's all changing every day, every week, every month. And the same platform, even GPT now is coming out in the new version. I mean, the latest, the 4.0 already out. So there's going to be more version. So it's always about trial and error, in my opinion, because with every new discovery, it's not that everyone will tell you exactly how to do it. But it's about being brave and try something new that will always come out with something that the other speaker have not used yet. For me, the most important part is to build our own AI. So this is what I'm working on. Well, actually, I already built one, but you need to have GPT-4 in order to access Christian Farioli AI. And then there are other platforms that allow you to create your own independent AI, where people can interact with you like they're speaking with you. So again, that's for me is the new version of the ebook, the free ebook that we were giving away for free 10 years ago. Now it's going to be, we're going to give away our own AI version. So of course, people are going to be happy with it, but this is going to remove all of those that typically they are begging us, oh, please help me with this, tell me that, what's your opinion about this, about that. You send the AI and they are happy. Then of course, when they're ready to go next level to move forward, then they're going to contact you and they know that there's going to be some payment involved.
Okay, well, here's the thing. If they've got the very best of you with ChatGPT or wherever it is fueling the background of what you say to people, aren't they going to be, and no disrespect intended, aren't they going to be disappointed when the real you comes along and you go, I don't know, I'm not really sure. Is that something you consider? Well, you might push yourself out of a job.
Well taken. Actually, I quote something that Gary Vaynerchuk was saying a long time ago. People are not ready anymore to pay for knowledge. They get the knowledge for free and they want to get knowledge for free. People, they are ready to pay for actions. So I give you my own knowledge for free. Then if you want me to help you, that is when you're going to pay me.
Yeah, it's a very interesting idea. I think without a doubt, all speaking where there is value that occurs after the speech is delivered if you share an action for the audience. You know, it's interesting. I sometimes speak and I just look at the audience, or I challenge the audience to say, you know, this is an expensive moment. You've given your time, which will be expensive as a leadership team, let's say. You paid for me and my time. I really want to know that you're going to do something with this. Of course, speaking is a blend of information and entertainment because, you know, that engages people, but it has to be about action too. And I think what you've just said, Christian, there is fantastic that, you know, you can get all the knowledge now, but it's how do you interpret that into a tailored action for that audience right there, right now? And I think that's one of the values I know we add is to understand who that audience is and customize what we're saying to them. There are speakers who just churn out the same thing, whoever the client is. I absolutely not a believer in that. I think our responsibility is to customize to the audience, to their particular situation, but then give those actions and challenge them in a way to take those actions and do something with it within the next, 24 hours or week or so, because then everybody's truly getting value from that investment.
So over to you then, Jeremy. As you just mentioned, now your background when I saw you on stage, you explained to everybody that you were the inventor of Coke Zero when you worked for the Coca-Cola company many years ago, which has created how much money has it generated? Shockers.
It delivers about 10 billion in retail sales per year for the company. And, that was from 2020. So you can calculate that, we're talking about 100 billion of sales. From what was just a little idea, which is actually just in what we're discussing from asking a particular question. And, one of the things about, you could argue with ChatGPT, which is phenomenal. It is only as good as the question you put in. And what I do find for me, because I'm using ChatGPT every day, in fact, as you just mentioned, I probably am not using Google at all for search for websites. It's, I use ChatGPT to find me the website that I want, if I want to do that. But the quality of the question delivers the quality of the answer. And therefore, there's a skill in framing that question to get, hopefully what you want.
So that leads on to something I'm going to throw to the whole group of rock stars completely, which is what should be your takeaway on stage? Do you go on stage and then give everybody your free AI as a gift? How often should you follow up? And what should be the business model of that? If you give everybody access to you as an AI, then suddenly, the whole formula for getting paid is this. The effect of a job that you do and how cheaply you can be replaced by somebody else. Now, if you haven't got a brand and everybody's giving away an AI version of themselves, it now becomes my AI is bigger than your AI because nobody wants to have 20 AIs to play with. So what would be the things, the criteria you should think about if you go on stage? If you give away AI, or if you didn't give it away, what would you do to an audience that gets them to want to stay interacted with you long after they leave the ballroom or the conference or wherever it is that you met them? Thoughts?
Initially, you need to play with a lot of them because there is not one easy, quick fix solution. Even I was using some AI tool a few years ago to do digital marketing stuff. And then, I know that all of them, bottom line, underneath there is ChatGPT, 99% of them. So after some time, I decided, okay, now I'm going to do the manual work, the manual way by using ChatGPT. And that's what's happened. Every tool, bottom line, 99% they have GPT underneath. So either you're going to learn now or you're going to learn later how to use GPT properly. Okay, you're going to need to write a little bit more, ask a little bit more things, but you're going to get exactly what you need.
I think actually it's a very interesting question, Dave. I think there's two answers I would give. The relationship I have with ChatGPT, in fact, a few months ago, actually probably now 6 months ago, because I passed this emotion, I did actually ask it if it was actually human. Because the interaction was so personal, so incredibly capturing what I wanted, it was frightening. However, it still doesn't ask me questions to help it understand more about me to help it. And the value we bring when helping a client post a speech is to ask what I would call the killer question, the question that brings illumination to the client and action. And that will occur through ChatGPT in the future, but it's not there yet. It just responds to the questions it's asked. And I would say that, at least for the moment, that's the value. And my Jeremy AI probably still won't also ask those questions. So we've got to come hand in hand, I would suggest.
How many of you guys have actually gone ahead and created a virtual version of yourselves or a VA that answers all your questions based on a smart version of what you'd want yourself to be if you were a knowledge-based person? How many of you
actually realized, Dave, that I'm not actually here?
You're Max Headroom, but nobody else will understand that joke.
Christian probably is ahead of the game on that.
Yeah, I've done it all a long time ago because that's my field. So I play around with technology since I was 12 years old. So for me, it's normal, but both ways. I have a version of me, and when I need to do something, I ask my AI version, how would I answer? How would I reply? How do I write something? And then I create another one that I can give to anyone that has a GPT-4 premium in order to interact with my AI version. I want to though improve it and throw in a lot more content, because at the moment I throw in who am I, a lot of things about me and my books. But actually I want to improve that by throwing in a lot more stuff, all of my presentation converted into text, etc., into knowledge. So basically it's going to know literally as much as myself.
But that leads a problem, you see. Once it can get access to you, it becomes the shiniest object that it's after. So you need to be able to not only supply the brains behind it, but you need to have some kind of stage show or community or ongoing learning process that gives them life, love, money, happiness, whatever it is, longevity, that they can't get from anything else. It's a real challenge to be able to work out what that should be and what people are going to want, because the speed that AI is coming up, as soon as you go, haha, good idea, oh, somebody's done it. And I think the next thing that's going to really revolutionize everybody is when Apple brings out on the iPhone the new AI, which is kind of there for if you bought the brand new Apple phone, it's the only thing that can actually hold the new AI, because it's going to be your AI assistant and it's going to be like your AI girlfriend or boyfriend or whatever you decide it's going to be. Now, the reason I find it fascinating is because they've made a mess of making sure it only goes to their top-end phones, whereas Samsung and Galaxy and Android have done it for lower-level phones. But if you can get access to somebody who's your virtual assistant that can coordinate your emails, your calendar, make you feel happy, help you meditate, do all those things, then what you're going to need from people is a different experience. And I believe that entertainers, and this is something that Jerry mentioned earlier, if you're an entertainer on stage, which most people aren't, then you bring something different to the table than just getting access to stuff. You bring the experience that people have when they enter the room with you. And I think that that's an interesting element. It involves stand-up comedy. It involves understanding the Wi-Fi code of the room. But that's something that older speakers like we have here are all very capable of doing more with. Thoughts on that?
Seasoned is the word, Dave. Seasoned.
Seasoned people, that's right. Salt and pepper beards everywhere.
It's interesting, though, actually, just listening to this conversation, because, you know, at one level, as Christian said, you know, we've had multiple industrial revolutions. Actually, in 2018, I made a program for the BBC called the Retail's AI Revolution. And when I approached the BBC, I said, look, you know, what's going to happen is that Amazon will download your Microsoft calendar, and will then send you things that you didn't know you want, because it looks at your calendar and works out what's happening. And then when it arrives, you decide, actually, do you want it or not? And if you do, you pay. And if you don't, you send it back. The BBC actually laughed at me, the producers. They said, that's just ridiculous. That's not going to happen. As we started to interview Net-a-Porter and Amazon and a number of other retail e-com platforms, they realized that this was completely possible and actually was being considered. Yet,
yeah, Amazon did it. I mean, had a plan to do it. Yes, they call it AI shipping. I mean, there is a name for it.
Yeah.
Drop shipping.
They know enough about you, and they listen at Alexa, so of course they know what you might like.
Correct.
But then they done their own calculation, and at the moment it would not financially feasible for them. But I believe that soon it can happen.
Yeah.
If you order enough stuff regularly, why not?
Yeah. So the two things that could happen. First of all, point one is that could happen now quicker than it's taken, because it's obviously 5 years ago and nothing's really happened. So now with the acceleration of AI, that can happen in a shorter time. Or, just building on this, that what we get from the search you've just been discussing on Apple is still incredibly functional. It is functional help to a functional problem. And yet another whole half of our lives is about entertainment. I mean, what is TikTok and YouTube, etc.? We're being entertained. Now, of course, AI can do that too, but it may well be that there's a continual separation between improved functionality through ChatGPT to help us do functional things, but the entertainment side, is still very human driven and is the other half of what we want. And perhaps AI may have less of an impact. I know it can do all the writing and the videos and so on, but nonetheless, there may be a separation we can see there a bit.
I think we can see from what happened with Meta and the virtual world that they're offering to everybody that some people just do not go to that level where tech is king. They still want human interaction. I want to finish off with one conversation, one question, which to throw at everybody. I'm going to throw this at Coach MJ first. And that's for an average person, I don't mean average with disrespect, who's not a speaker, and they're not branded, and they're just wondering, how do I cope with all this stuff? How do I position myself? Because I'm worried about my job being automated. I want to be more relevant and make sure I can still work. Maybe I need to start a side hustle. Maybe I need to put myself out there as a consultant. What would your advice be for people who are on LinkedIn or any platforms who are maybe a little bit older, very scared about this tsunami that's coming, and what they need to do next? Coach MJ, the quantum leadership guy, what's your thoughts on this?
It's very simple. Look, fear is a paralytic intoxicant. So when fear takes hold of someone, they're unable to take the action that they need to do. Step back and look. Listen, it's going to happen whether you like it or not. So, hey, guys, get with it. Find someone who already knows about it. Start to follow. Educate yourself. There's no big deal. It's simply a tool. So you want to know that we found out, 6 months ago, Dave, that prompt engineers are doing $80,000 to $90,000, and all they're simply doing is learning the right way to ask questions to ChatGPT. There's a great example right there. There's lots of opportunity. Just find someone who's already doing it, follow it, get yourself educated, find a coach, and help get you to the next level. Pure and simple.
My best idea, go inverse mentoring. So make sure that you're going to follow some kids, your nephew, your little one, that you still don't understand how much or what they're doing online or with AI, with GPT. Ask them, they're going to show it to you. Or you can pay me. That's also good.
Wow. So there you go. Get your kids to do it, or of course get Christian, or one of the many versions of Christian that are cost effective. Jeremy, what's your thoughts? What your advice?
It's a really interesting. I mean, without a doubt, Christian, I totally agree, which is reverse mentoring. However, what I've observed throughout my career, and it's happening now, there is two things. First of all, not every young person, we can paraphrase, is an expert in AI. So I have three sons, 20, 23, 25. My 20-year-old is a uber expert. I'm a super expert in AI and also social media marketing at a level. He does black cat marketing, while my other two, are just users of the technology, but are by no means an expert. And I've always felt that age is not the driver of knowledge when it comes to all social media, digital, and technology. It's finding those people who have a particular fascination at any age. But without a doubt, you need, one step is to engage yourself with that person and get them to teach you, show you, infuse you in what they're doing at the cutting edge. And if you're at a work environment, one has an obligation, listen to this, it's really important, one has an obligation as a leader to embrace and bring in those young or competent voices, because we're meant to be driving the strategy. We're meant to be driving the leadership. And if we're not taking the lead as the leaders of the company to put AI into the business, we will lose out if we're not a tech company at the heart. So this is a really crucial part of our business routine and life routine to embrace this and infuse ourselves so we can talk with authority. And if we can't talk with authority, we can at least ask the right questions of the person who is knowledgeable, such that we get the action from them or with them.
Sorry to interrupt your podcast, just a quick one. If you've watched what I've done for the last couple of years and thought to yourself, I wonder what Dave could do for me, now's your chance to find out. Whether it's growing your personal brand, speaking on stages around the world and getting paid while traveling for free, or maybe you want a podcast, or maybe you want to write a book, or creating followers and fans, or having retreats or an online course, or maybe starting your side hustle. Whatever it is, we can create something that's perfect for you, your own signature product. So what do? Well, very simply, all you need to do is register at this QR code or go to www.speakonstage.com/summervip/ and then register. Once confirmed, you get sent details of how we can book to work together. 2 sessions with a load of incredible content to raise your game. You will also be able to be incredible on LinkedIn, get over imposter syndrome, create messaging that your clients will love and buy into. You'll be able to create your personal brand and also become a guest on other people's podcasts and more. What more could you possibly want? Just me and you working together, having a ton of fun and getting you to where you need to be. The world is changing more rapidly than ever before, and I want you to be positioned as the best that you can be. So all you have to do is go to this, register, and then let's help you jump and grow wings on the way down. That's it. Back to the podcast. Amazing stuff, guys. Real pleasure to brainstorm with you. And you are still rock stars and my heroes in the industry of speaking. I look forward to catching up with you on more conversations like this. So Jeremy, Christian, and Coach MJ will put your contact details up on the comment section so people can connect with you. And meanwhile, for everybody who's watching, thank you for watching Speak on Stage. Make sure you watch these leaders, get them to speak to an audience near you. And look forward to catching you next time on this show. Remember to jump and grow wings on the way down. We'll see you soon on Speak on Stage. Thank you for tuning into another insightful episode of Speak on Stage with Dave Crane. We hope you found today's conversation inspiring and packed with valuable insights to help you to amplify your presence on stage too. And if you enjoyed this episode, please subscribe to the podcast on your favorite platform and leave us a review. Your feedback helps us improve and reach more aspiring speakers just like yourself. Remember, the stage is your platform to shine, and with the right tools and mindset, you can captivate any audience anywhere. So keep honing your craft, refining your message, and never shy away from the spotlight. Stay tuned for our next episode, where we'll dive even deeper into the world of public speaking and performance. Until then, keep speaking, keep shining, and keep making an impact. This is Dave Crane signing off. See you next time on Speak on Stage.